How are you all doing? Are you having fun? How was your week? Was it a fantastic week? Was there anything that bothered you during the week? Of course, we all have such moments. Sometimes there are happy moments. Sometimes there are urges that gives us hope to live for another day. And they say that hope makes you live for another day. Think about this moment where you wanted to watch your favorite movie and it was only getting released next month and you only get the trailer and you watch the trailer and you want to watch the movie but you're waiting for it and you get this urge to watch but you have to wait until it is released. So imagine that hope that made you live for another month. And we think that that is life because we forget that urge. When we think about that feeling that you get when you watch that movie, we forget that urge, don't we? And we call it the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness. Is it really the happiness that we are after or getting relieved from that urge? Why don't we focus on the urge and not on this happiness, so-called happiness that you are about to get, you might get in the future? Why don't we focus on the present moment? And then you will see the truth. The truth seekers always focus on the present moment because that is what really exists. If you focus on this moment, then you will see the urge, that frustration that you feel right now, the urge to run, and that energy that bubbles up within you that wants to get released by doing what you want, by getting what you want, but you can't. Do you like that feeling? Nobody does. And you might had those feelings where you felt angry and made this beautiful moment a bad memory. It was deposited in your mind as a bad memory. We all have those moments, the anger that destroys everyone's serenity in their minds, people that we love, our family members, our friends, colleagues, that destroy their day, that destroy their hopes for a good life. Some people say that this anger can be managed. Do you agree with me if I say that this anger is something that needs to be managed? There was this great teacher, my teacher, and that great teacher told us that anger is something that needs to be understood. Anger is not something that needs to be managed. I remember this folk tale that I listened to when I was a child. There was this prince, he was on a quest and he was going through this jungle. And in the middle of this jungle, he meets this demon, the demonic figure that wants to devour humans. And he feeds on them. So this demon wants to know something. The demon wants to know his identity. The demon wants to know who he is. And if someone, he asks the person next to him, "Who am I? Can you tell me my name? Then I'll let you go, otherwise I'll eat you." So this prince and all these princes that go before him get destroyed because they didn't tell this demon who he was. And this prince, who went so prepared with the name and with the identity of this demon, when he was caught, he looks at this demon, he looks at his eyes and he say, "I know you. I know your name. I know you. As soon as he tell the name of this demon, the demon disappears. Poof. The demon disappears into thin air. No trace that even he existed in this world. Same goes with the anger. Same goes with this frustrating feeling that you get. When you understand anger, that is all it needs at that specific moment. It is because you don't understand this anger, you get the anger. As soon as you give this anger an identity, that means when you know what it is, that is the escape route. That is what will give you relief. That is what will give you the true freedom from anger. So we are going to talk about the anger today. And throughout the next series, I'm going to tell you how to get rid of anger, how to be free from that feeling, that ugly feeling that you've been suffering for so long. And you've been searching for answers. You've been asking the people that you know, why am I getting angry? How should I get rid of it? You might have gone to countless therapies, counseling sessions. You might have gone to confessions. You might have talked about it for hours, the things that you have done when you were angry. When you go to sleep, it might take your sleep away from you. But we have the answer, and throughout the next few episodes, we are going to, actually not me, we, all of us together, we are going to understand the anger, and we are going to follow this path step by step. So hang in there. I want to explain this concept of this great teacher because I believe that's the message that I'm here to give, because I believe that it's a timeless message. As this wise man once said, timeless message immortalizes its messenger. So this is this timeless message. When we are angry, we do things that we will regret in the future, that we will feel remorse and resentment towards ourselves, self-loathing, self-discriminating behavior. We show those behaviors because we do things that we regret when we are angry. So, how to get rid of the anger? Think about the last time that you felt angry. It could be with your children, your siblings, or one of your colleagues that they didn't agree with your view. They wanted to do something. They wanted to do something their own way, but you didn't agree with them and you argued, and before you know it, you are angry with them. And it's the word vomit that wants to come out. You want to hurt their feelings. Sometimes it doesn't stop from there, does it? So, what do you want? Ask from yourself. Don't you want something to happen your way? Because you can't accept the way that it is happening right now. Because you want something to happen your way, something to happen my way. That is what is causing this anger. And it's okay to feel this way. So let's understand, what is this my way? And why do I want it to happen that way? Why do I want it so badly? And I'll give you a small example. Imagine you have an orange and an apple. So you want this apple to be eaten. You like this apple. But the other person, the person next to you, or the person that is in the shop, gives you the orange. Because they say that oranges are better, oranges are tasty and juicy, and you should have it. It's good. We can only give you some oranges. So then you want the apple. That is your way, because you like the apple. But I believe that it's the lack of understanding that Apples and oranges are both the same. If we understand that apple is actually an orange, if you can understand that orange is actually an apple, then does it matter what you get? Does it matter what you eat? That understanding is so profound, I agree. But that is what will relieve that anger, that frustration within you. So I have come with something to show you today. So I have this house. So this is a great way to explain this teaching. This was built with some building blocks. So these building blocks that I have here were collected together in a specific arrangement here. So when it is actually collected and arranged in a specific way, specific structure, you see a house. And sometimes we arrange this in a different format, different way, different structure, and we call it a train. I have seen some little kids doing that. Sometimes kids arrange it in a form of a robot or a tree. And so I have my good friends and some of the children that helped me to do this, they arranged this in the form of a house. So do you see this part here? What do you think that is? I think that is a window. What do you think? It is a window. That's how I feel. That's how I believe. And that is my opinion, that this is a window. And I hold on to my opinion that this is a window. What if I take it out? And did you see that when it was connected to this structure, when you look at it, you feel that this is a window. As long as it is connected to this structure and it is part of this, you think it is a window. But when you take it out, and there are some parts here, so I'll make something else with this. Well, I like a fence for my house, so this is a fence. Now, if we put it inside of this, it is a fence. So I'm building a fence for my house. So what is this now? What is this now? It is part of the fence. It is actually a fence. See? So as soon as this got connected to this, it became a fence. So I'm going to ask you a question. What is this then? Is it a window or is it a fence? What do you think? Do you have an answer? Think about it for a moment. I'll give you a moment to think about it. When it was actually connected to this structure, it was a window. When it was connected to this structure, it is a fence, part of a fence. So, what is it actually? Do you have an answer? You don't. Because this depends. Because this is not actually a window. It is neither a window nor a fence. But according to the necessity, according to that structure, you feel that it is a window. According to the necessity, you call this a window. But this is neither a window nor a fence. In that sense, what if I want this to be a window? I want this to be a window. And when I ask for a window, I get a fence. But I'm not satisfied with that. I wanted a window. Someone might feel that way. That, in a nutshell, is anger. That we don't understand that this is neither a window. This can be sometimes a window, sometimes a fence. When we don't understand that, we believe that this is a window and we want that to be a window, and we are not ready to accept a fence as an alternative. We are not ready to accept this as something else. We want the window. So it is because we didn't understand that this is a fence too. I mean, if you go to a boutique and they've given you, you're asking for a window, and they are giving you this fence, and you're saying to them, why are you giving me a fence? I asked you for a window. Give me a window. Why can't you give me a window? What kind of salesperson are you? You're angry now because you want a window, but that salesperson gave you a window, didn't he? Because the window is not a window. Because this is not a window. It is all in your mind. Only when we collect all these structures, all these underlying parts, this became a window. So then this was never a window. When we understand that we are okay with anything, we are okay to accept whatever that comes our way. When we can accept anything and everything that comes our way, that gives you this feeling of freedom. Feeling of freedom from all these wantings. Feeling of freedom from all these frustrations that bothers us. The anger, the wanting, that hope, that expectation that brings us to this anger, the stress, the anxiety, and the list goes on. There's no ending. It gets worsened and worsened, and we don't know. The sky is the limit. So we don't need to wait until that happens because we have answers. So this is the concept that is taught by our teachers, because we always believe that things should happen my way, that we cannot accept what is happening around us because we believe that there is always a specific way, like this window, that this is a window and we want this to be a window, but this was never a window. At that very moment it has become a window, but the structure didn't know about it, and it was born in your mind. This specific feeling that this is a window was born in your mind. It was never there in the structure. It was never there in this plastic. It was never there in this square. It only exists in your mind. So when I say that it exists in your mind, don't you see a light at the end of the tunnel? That it can be changed. What needs to be changed is the way that we think, the mind. The way that the mind operates is what needs to be changed to get rid of anger. We don't need to change the outside world. We don't need to melt this and make this a window. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to destroy this. We don't need to change the people around us. What really needs to do is change the way that we think, the way that we see the world, the way that we perceive things. That is what we need to change. Nothing else needs to. So isn't it easy? Changing ourselves, changing the way we think is the easiest way than changing the entire world. You change and you should change. Isn't it tiresome to point the finger at the person next to you and say, please change on behalf of me? Please change, will you? Why don't you change? I'm suffering because of you. Please change. So isn't that so tiresome to do that? The best and easiest way is to change the way that you think, the way that you perceive things. So think about it. And we'll talk about this. We experience the taste of freedom, and we want everyone else to experience that. Come with us and you will see the light. You will find the light.